Welcome to Sovereign Mamas, the podcast sanctuary for visionary women who are building lives, businesses, and legacies in alignment with their feminine power. I'm your host, Julia Jerg, intuitive business coach, mama of two, and systems strategist for solo-led entrepreneurs. Here, we honor both your sacred role as a mama and your wild vision as a changemaker. Expect soul-aligned strategy, raw storytelling, behind the scenes, and powerful conversations that support you in scaling your business without sacrifice. If you're done choosing between success and sovereignty, you're home. Let's begin. Okay, welcome back to the Sovereign Mamas podcast, your hour of self-care, of reflection, connection with motherhood, women around the world, and yeah, it's always a pleasure for me as the host and this movement creator to get to know other women across the globe, really seeing, how everyone is in their own niches, on their own journeys to really show up, and how the internet makes it possible to actually do this. So I find it so fun. And today Bali meets the Netherlands. So welcome to the show, Cindy.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, so great to have you. And I just briefly met you before we started recording. And like I said, there is no right or wrong. This is a conversation to getting to know women across the globe who are standing for sovereignty, who are, have some sort of transformational story to share. And let's just get to know you and what is your story, and maybe even what would you say is your epiphany moment when you say, oh, this is the moment in time where I always go back and notice something has shifted, something has changed for me.
It almost feels difficult to choose the one.
Yeah,
I
is there
think,
just one?
yeah, I think my journey is about empowerment. So it's always also my own journey. I help empower women in business and motherhood and love and relationships. So yeah, I have several of these moments, and I think the one that I always tell is when my first husband was diagnosed with cancer that he couldn't be cured from. I remember that I sat at a table with him in front of the doctor, and that the doctor said he had only 3 or 4 years to live. And then I thought, oh, I am the woman as well, who's hearing this conversation. And the doctor was all about go do things that you love and that you like and what you still want to do. But I think I am sitting here as well, and it's my invitation as well. And then later that day, I sat in this gray hospital church all alone. And then all of a sudden, I heard someone say, you should only do what you're really passionate about, and you can always make that happen. You can always create it. And then I looked in the bag, but there was nobody there. And I didn't understand that because at that time I was spiritual, but not that spiritual, and it was like really as if someone was talking to me. It was like really strange. And
Wow.
I still remember that moment. Like people talk about awakening, and I think that was really like someone telling me, hey, stop being the people pleaser, start focusing on what you really love, quit your job, do the things, start your own business, live your own life. And of course, that were all of the steps after all of that. But the main thing was it's always safe to follow your passion, no matter what life brings at you.
I love that. I love that so much. And it's so unique to everyone, but we all somehow, when we're receptive and open, get those messages
Yeah.
throughout life. Somehow it's always presented in tragedy, in loss, in obstacles, hurdles, and it looks different for everyone. But like you say, not yeah, maybe another person wouldn't have even recognized it, but you were there sitting and realizing it. So
Yeah.
it's a beautiful story. And
Yeah.
was this the moment, like, were you a mother there and then
No, not yet. I think becoming a mom was also one of these moments when I had my first son, and he really opened me up to not just what I always see on Instagram is that people are really good at posting quotes. You know, I love to live this life and everything is possible and da 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 da. And I still know that in these first weeks, I had several of these moments that I felt, but he will be looking at me, you know, I can post everything that I want, but he will not remember that. He will probably don't even know that. He will know what I will show him. I have to show him that it's possible. I have to really become the embodiment of all of the things that I feel, even though it's really difficult at moments, because he has been always been the one that has opened me up for something so much bigger than I at that moment felt possible. I was capable of, you know? And um I always think about that. Also, when we sit at the table, I now have two sons, and when we sit at the dinner table, I always, or when I play with them, or when we are outside, you know, in this online world that some of us live in, you know, it's your business. It's it's easy to create a world, but the only one that really matters is the one that you live at home. And it's what you say online, what you do at home, you know? I truly think that embodiment is so key, but especially for your children, not so also for your clients and all of the things, but at home, you know, and you can't be totally happy on Instagram and then scream, or totally happy. And of course we all scream sometimes, you know, but we shouldn't scream all the time with our children. Or, you know, go for the slow and relaxed living, and then when you bring the children to bed, you're like in this adrenaline mode and stuff. That has always been something that motherhood really invited me into.
Just being authentic, like on all
Yeah.
levels, right? And
Yeah.
it reminded me of something, one of my moments where I just realized, thanks to my children, um, exactly what you said. Like when there's this opportunity to create an image online, but you're not living the same image at home. I had this quote in my head. Um, the moments when you like when no one is watching,
Yeah.
those matter, right? How you
Yeah.
act, how you talk, how you feel, and the frequency you're on. That's actually the one, that is the most important. And yeah, and so how do you help today? You're helping women to be more embodied. Talk a little bit
Yeah.
about what you do.
Yeah, women often come to me when it's coaching related. They come to me for their business, but a lot of them are moms, or these are women that also struggle in love and relationships. So it's business wise, but it's often about all of the things at the back of the business, you know, in and I also created my own Oracle deck last year. So now yeah, all of a sudden, my business, it was always a bit like that with my online programs, that I have moms who just want the me time moment, you know, just like what you said at the beginning of the podcast, this moment to really connect and feel yourself again, or the seven-figure entrepreneur who has to go through this deep death rebirth journey with her business. And I've always had a bit of everything in between, from this woman to that woman, if you have to put them in boxes. But now with the Oracle deck going all over the world, it's like really there are so many women in my field, from that mom to actresses or a big business owner. And what has always touched my heart is that in a way we classify them, but we are all women. We are all struggling in love and relationships at moments. We are all moms. We are all wanting the best for our children, and struggling sometimes between business and motherhood, and finding ourselves and being the best version of ourselves. You know, it doesn't really matter where these women are on their journey. If something in my journey or in my business clicks with them, then they are welcome in my
Mm.
business.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. And that's That's exactly what I experience inside the Sovereign Mamas movement and with our books that are part of that movement. And, the reason why I wanted to have the Secrets of Sovereign Mamas book series was
Mhm.
exactly what you just described. It's no matter which, part of the world you're from, no matter what stage of motherhood you're in, these chapters, and I've now had the honor to edit quite a few of those chapters. And each time when I read another story, I'm like, we can all relate. We can all find ourselves in those stories. And that's why it's so important to share them, because then another woman out there suddenly doesn't feel like she's alone with her story. We all have similar experiences. And I believe that nowadays still there's not enough conversation around how women in our modern times are navigating this, because it's so, yeah, online everything is polished, and day-to-day life everything needs to function, and we kind of like super powerfully do that. And then there is no awards. There is no one patting your backs. There's no one saying, "Oh, wow, you did all that." No, it's just a given thing that moms do this. They are capable of doing that. And so, okay. And then life goes on, right? And next generations kind of take over the lineage and just keep building and plugging. And so I'm really a strong and firm believer that if you want to change something, you have to bring it out, like bring the pattern to the surface. And it starts with this movement by simply naming it, that we are doing so much more than you actually can see. And by sharing stories and talking to women like you, the world hears this, and this needs to be like there needs to be light on it. And
Mhm.
and so, yeah, what's your, like, when you feel into that word sovereignty, what comes up for you, and why are you connected with that?
Um, it's something that we can always come back to, no matter what life brings to you. And I truly believe that every woman can reclaim her power in every situation. And I also believe, and I don't know if I feel called to share that now because I truly believe that a lot of us women now in this time are here for ourselves and for our clients, but maybe even more for the next generation.
Mm.
And I think all of this sovereignty to me is really related to the next generation, helping them, not just launching or creating from this to that, but really building a legacy and not in this rush, 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 but embracing the slowness and the higher love and the softness of life
Mhm.
without settling in power. That's what sovereignty to me is about. It's like the softness on one side and the power on the other side, and then, yeah, merging the two. That
Mhm.
you really have both, and that it's not just a woman who has an open heart but doesn't really ground her medicine, doesn't really build her movement, if that's what part of your medicine, but also not the other way around, the pusher, the launching, launching, launching. I can do all the things, but
Mhm.
from a guarded body.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. True, true. And I think, and I see more and more, like I'm sure you experience the same. And the more you tune into that, then more women come and appear in your field. And so it feels that this era is actually, yeah, it's here. And I love that. And I love that so much. And so now you have two boys. How old are they again?
Yeah, I have a 10-year-old boy and an almost 2-year-old, and we had a daughter in 2023, but she was stillborn with 41 weeks. So she is with us, but differently than the two boys at the dinner table every
Oh,
evening.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So yeah, so you're like in different phases, and it's in different, and what, like you already said it kind of, but what would you like when you're, grandma, you sit there and your boys come up and say something to you. What would you like them to say to you? Mommy, this is so cool what you did. What, like, describe it maybe in the words.
Um, I want that my sons know that I created something truly amazing and that went all over the world. That's what I, yeah, felt while building my business. It's like it's more, but I also know, but you were always there for us. You know, when we needed you, you were there. I once heard a quote. You earlier in this conversation, you talked about a quote, and one that always sticks to me is like, never see your pets or your children as an interruption. Because
Mm.
sometimes when we're busy with our things, it can feel like that. But if you start journeying with that quote, to me, that really brings so much softness. And I think that if I have a conversation with my two boys later, I hope that they will say that, that there was always so much love, that my son said that last week, that he said our home feels so, I don't know the English word, he said it in Dutch, of course, but like really warm and really loving, and that it's always cozy. And I think that's what children need. And it doesn't need to be polished. In this house, we sometimes scream, we have our own little family fights and stuff. But I think if you are honest, and honest also in energy, that it's clear, and that if you fucked up as a mom, that you tell them, and the other way around, that you expect the same from them, then there is a clear and clean energy, and everyone, yeah, can function in their own way. And then we can build a business, because I built my business to its first six figures when I was a single mom. My oldest doesn't know different. He knows that I'm a business owner and that I sometimes have to do stuff, and we function really well together like that. And if you are also there as the mom, and especially as the woman, your energy fills like the whole house. Men
Mhm.
are a bit different, but if we struggle inside, it's felt. The house is filled with that energy. And I think the more we realize that and really live the life that we truly want to feel, which also, yeah, from us business owners needs time and space for the creation,
Mhm.
and then find your own way. And that can be totally different for everyone, to do the same, do both the creation and being a mom and being a wife and being a woman. We have to be so much what you just said. I think we are the first generation who does all the things, and we are finding our way. But if we are honest, then I think our children can always look back later on and say, hey, mom, you did something amazing and you were a really great mom.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, so true. And I think when it comes to creating that, because maybe some of the listeners will say, "Yeah, but how do I do that?" Right? So, what maybe you can share also some tips how this looks like in real life for you, because when I became a single mom, there was suddenly this necessity forced onto me. I just have to make it happen. But
Yeah.
then I also didn't want to force things to happen in the masculine way of things. And it actually did push me to further into my feminine side of things. And um, creating structure and systems has helped me a lot to, maintain things to flow and then also have space for myself, for my business, for my sons, for friends, family. And I guess when you're in the thickest of life and you're kind of like hearing us talk and feel like you're not there yet, maybe give a tip what you would recommend doing in that phase of building up the sovereignty in your life.
I think if you can't feel it at that moment, and we all have these moments, that the only answer is to be with your heart and take the time to open your heart and really be with the medicine of your own heart, which can feel really, it sounds so easy, opening the heart, be with the medicine of the heart, but it can be the most difficult, at least to me. Sometimes it feels like really being present, taking the time, especially if you know that you are capable of creating it and you feel it moving through you, because that's what women feel. You feel all this power and all this possibility and creation energy, but you can't make sense of it all just yet. And then I think if you have the structures, which I always love, like this hobby kind of businessy way, but structures is needed also for us intuitive women. It's really loving. It's not something that you think, oh, I hate structures. No, it's really loving to your nervous system to have that. And what I always told myself, and I really also experienced that when we were traveling through Europe with our family, is that if I can't do it on my phone, it's not my business. And I love working on my laptop and stuff, but to me, it has to be so super easy, because I built it when my son was playing outside, and sometimes I did a little thing on my phone, and I still do that sometimes when I'm on the couch and they are playing or doing something else. I want to be able to do stuff on the couch
Yeah.
or in my notebook. I never had the ambition to have like this big team. I know there are women who love that, but to me, at least in this phase, I'm really feeling into how can I create my goal while just having my phone, having my laptop, my structures, a little team, but it has to be possible. I want to be a mom in a soft body with a nervous system that's not all over the place and who has the time for her children. And I think that's most important. And also, one of the things I always tell myself, there is always more time. And if you are in for the long run and decide that, and sometimes in the month-to-month creation phase, if you are there, then that can be difficult to really feel into. But I think legacies we don't build in month to month or in a quarter even. It's a long-term plan. So you have to help your body hold more energy, be in something without getting all the admiration and all the likes and the things for your result that you're building over time. And if you allow yourself to to grow and expand in all of that, I think that no matter at what stage you are, because I have women who are really just starting a business and women who already created 7 figures. But this energy is so important for everyone.
Mm.
Really decide that you're in for the long run.
That's true. That's true. And once you make that decision, then that's kind of like the unlocking of that
Yeah.
bigness, right? But you have to have it, yeah, you have to have it mentally internalized and say, oh yeah, it's not just a program that I'm launching, or it's not just
No.
thing that I'm doing this year. Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe also that's when I'm just listening now to you, I think what has always helped me, because at some moments, and especially the one that you described when you started your question, is that the moments you think that you are either genius or going crazy, you should really follow these moments, because we all have them, that you think, I am a fucking genius, or this the moment that everything burns down and whatever, But those are like these beautiful moments, and when you look back, it all makes sense. But
Yeah.
it's always working. It's always working. If you feel in that and decide that your success is inevitable, it will always work.
Mm. Yes, amazing. What was one of those crazy moments? Do you remember one? One off the top.
Um, yeah, I think stepping back into my business after the stillbirth of my daughter was like that everyone in my environment said, you're you are crazy. Oh, it was it. I took my time to heal, but then they were still, oh, slow down, da da da, all of those
Mm.
things. And but I had this deep, deep urge, and it was really vulnerable, stepping back into the business after everyone knew what had happened. And also holding all that energy again after going through such deep heartbreak and having to build myself up and your nervous system and all the things and the trust in myself and my body, and then holding that energy. I also had moments that I think, okay, I'm totally
Mm.
crazy or I'm a genius, but I'm doing this and I feel that I have to go first and I got this no matter the projections, no matter what everyone thinks. I can do this my way. And if I trust myself, then this will work out. And it did. But I really had to trust myself. And I think, we all have to.
Yeah, it's always so easy when you look back and then connect the dots and tell the story, and it always sounds so, oh yeah, sure, like this is logical. But in the moment, you don't see the next step, and you just, it's a leap of faith, and you
Yeah.
trust, and right, and then,
Yeah.
yeah, oh, great. So
Mm.
yeah, when someone listens and wants to reach out to you, Cindy, where's the best way to connect with you?
On Instagram, I think, if you want to do it through social media, and otherwise on my website, cindystal.com, and there you can find all the things from our free temple to the Oracle deck to the coaching and the coaching programs. You can just find what works for you.
Perfect. Amazing. I hope a lot of listeners will do that. And yeah, I mean, I could talk to you for hours because I feel like we're exactly in the same. And look, this is again like I'm mind blown each time someone comes up, and I had no idea who you are. And from the description, I kind of
Yeah.
sensed a little bit, but now here you are, and we're talking the same language. So it's so good.
Yeah. It's always so cool to meet women around the world that you don't know, but through this online world, we get to meet so many beautiful women.
Yes, perfect.
Mm,
Thanks so
mm,
much for sharing your time and your
mm.
insights and story with us. And any last words that you would like to pass on to the listeners?
I think that you always have time, especially as moms. We can step into this trap that it's a lot. I have this wound that I told myself all the time, oh, it's a lot, it's a lot, it's a lot. But the moment you stop that and just feel into, hey, there is always more time, and my success will be inevitable, and I will be available for the long run. I will do this no matter what. And I, as a mom, get to have all the time with my children that I desire, and I can still, because I think also for moms, it's like business or mom time, but you also have me time, and there is always enough time for that. Mm.
Beautiful. And with this, I think that's the perfect ending.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing, and thank you to the listeners to taking the time. And I hope you got something really insightful and took something really amazing away from this conversation. And if you did, we would love to hear from you. So comment below, tag us in any social media, share if something popped up and resonated, then please do tag Cindy and myself as well. And I wish you all the best and can't wait to see you on the next episode.